Barrel, issue number 13 from Image Comics. So in the last issue, we had Lucky explain that he wanted to get into this pet store, but he had no way to get inside. He had no idea how they would be able to break in. And Elsie ended up coming up with a plan. And this issue is Elsie explaining the plan as well as them executing the plan. So we start off, of course, with Gigi questioning Elsie, questioning the plan. Gigi is constantly thinking of like the worst that can happen, which I can kind of understand. As someone who suffers from multiple anxiety issues, specifically like the worst one for me is agoraphobia with panic disorder. So one of the things I always do before like I leave the house or anything like that is I think of all the worst things that can happen, and then I try to come up with ways of, okay, what can I do if that happens? So I understand thinking of like the worst that can happen. The thing is to not dwell on that and to not just focus on that. Think of the worst, come up with a plan to what to do if the worst does happen, and then just continue on. Like if you just sit and dwell on the worst, then you're never going to be able to do anything. So I can kind of understand where Gigi's coming from, but at the same time, she's not coming up with any good plans. She's also freaking out. She believes that her and her kins and Elsie and stuff are already part of the bad kind, that they're infected. And the reason why is because they're all covered in blood, because they ate the lady. That's when Gigi runs off and she's basically trying to, I guess, control herself. Looks like she might be having a panic attack or something. And Lucky shows up and says, "You're fine. That's not how you get sick. You can't catch the sickness from eating one of them." Like, look at Moosh. And Moosh is the dog. The dog is eating one of the bad kind. And Lucky says he eats them all the time. And he's fine. So that's not how you're going to catch the sickness. And it looks like they're trying to like almost develop some kind of relationship between Lucky and Gigi. It looks like Gigi's like starting to maybe fall in love with him. I guess we'll see where that goes. I still have a feeling that he's going to end up betraying the group at some point. But I could be wrong. But Elsie explains her plan. Her plan is to climb up the Pet City sign, walk across the telephone wires, and then jump onto the roof. And they're like, okay, but what about the bad kind? Well, Moosh can deal with the bad kind. Moosh can attack the bad kind, clear up the way for us to make it to the sign. Okay, but the kittens can't climb. Okay, well, then we'll each carry one of the kittens. There's only 3 kittens, and there's multiple adults. There's more adults than kittens, so we can easily just carry the kittens up there. Okay, what about Lord? Can Lord climb up that thing? Lord might have trouble, but we'll see. Lord's like, oh, I'll figure it out when I get there. And they're like, okay. So we just have to walk across the wire. It doesn't look like it's raining. Doesn't look like it's windy. The weather is pretty calm right now. This is the perfect time for us to be able to do this. And then they're like, okay, but what about Ghost? A Ghost is deaf. Ghost can't hear. Someone needs to relay the plan to him somehow. And will his balance be messed up? Like, will his balance be impaired because of the fact that he can't hear? And then we see Ghost, like when they're like executing the plan, they lose Ghost, and Ghost is already on the roof. He's like the first one there while they're still in the middle of the telephone wire. Ghost is freaking awesome. I love Ghost. I know he just appeared, but he's already my favorite character. I don't know why. He's just, there's something about him that's just so cool. Like, he just showed up. He can't hear. He can't talk. The only thing he can do is mew. And yet, he's badass. Like in the last issue, he helped Moosh attack a bunch of the bad kind that were going after the kittens. In this one, he's easily able to scale the telephone wire and walk across it and jump onto the roof. Like, Moosh is just like the silent badass of the group. And we have a moment where Lucky snaps the cone on Elsie's head. She's like, if you're going to try to keep your balance, you can't have this in the way. And Elsie thanks him, and then we immediately cut to Gigi's pissed off face. The thing is that the pissed off face for Gigi is when they're in the middle of the plan, whereas Elsie is giving him, I don't want to say the moon eyes, but Elsie's thanking Lucky in the past. But just the way the panel set up, where it goes from that panel immediately to Gigi's annoyed face, it makes me think that Gigi is going to become even more antagonistic towards Elsie. Maybe she thinks Elsie's trying to make her moves on Lucky. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my butt. I guess we'll see. But of course, bad luck has to hit them. As they're in the middle of climbing the telephone wire, it starts raining, it starts thundering. And Lord starts freaking out. He slips and falls. Elsie is able to grab him. But because she grabs him, she is no longer carrying Eleanor, the kin. And so the kin has to walk across the wire on her own. And the kin wants to show her mom that she can do it by herself, but her rushing shakes the wire and Elsie almost falls off, except Gigi is able to grab her and pulls her up. And I'm going to be spoiling everything in this issue, just because this issue has already been out for a while. This didn't come out this week. This issue, by the time this video comes out, it's already going to be like 2 weeks old. So at this point, you wanted to read it for yourself, you probably would have already. So spoilers. Gigi saves Elsie, pulls her in, but then immediately like ignores her. So we can see that they're still having, you know, their little spat. It's a one-sided spat. Elsie is not upset with Gigi, but Gigi is completely pissed off at Elsie. And they get inside the pet store and they're super excited. There's so much cat food for them to eat. There's so many toys for the kids to play with. Lucky's like, this is all ours. So let's split up. You girls can gather the food. Me and Lord will gather some blankets. And I'll also try to see if there's a way to let Moosh in without the bad kind coming in as well. And that's when they realize that they're not alone. There's a bunch of cats there as well. And they're kind of confused because they're like, how the hell did the cats get in? And the cats explain, we've always been here. Which makes sense because one of the things I was wondering about was pet stores have cats and pets of their own, right? There's birds, there's fish, there's cats, dogs. Some have rabbits, lizards, snakes. They don't just sell like pet food and toys and stuff. They actually also have the pets themselves that you can buy. I figured, what happened to the animals already inside? I guess the humans didn't go after them, which is kind of weird. Because then it also makes me wonder, how did this place get boarded up where none of the other animals can get inside? Humans didn't do that. And if they did that, why didn't they go after the animals that were already inside? Because we've known already that the humans are going around capturing and killing like every animal that they can, or at least all the cats and stuff, all the animals that can get infected. So why did they ignore the ones at the pet stores? I don't know. Maybe that'll be explained in the next issue. Yeah, of course, we can't have our heroes just immediately catch a break. Everything always has to turn out bad for them. So yeah, I guess we're going to find out what's going to happen here. I'm wondering if we're going to do like a whole Animal Farm kind of situation. If we're going to have a whole like The Mist, where we're going to break into separate classes. We're going to have infighting. We're going to have Gigi turn against the group because she, I don't know, is sick of Elsie. Or if we're going to have Lucky end up betraying the group for reasons. I have a feeling that the next issue is going to deal with infighting, where maybe these cats are like, you can stay here, but we're the ones in charge. And maybe we're going to have like a whole, I didn't watch The Walking Dead, but I'm assuming maybe like the whole Walking Dead with the bat dude. I don't know his name. I didn't watch the show. I didn't read the comics. Negan. There we go. I wonder if we're going to have like a whole situation like that. Is this basically Barrel's version of Negan's storyline from The Walking Dead? I guess we'll see. But yeah, there you go. There's Feral. Issue number 13. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far. And I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again. And I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.